for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est Canadien qui complète le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TB. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Matt Ohayon with you on this Friday evening. Welcome to the Sick Podcast. Let's get the business out of the way. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Energy Transportation Group is a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. We're also brought to you by Playground. Playground has over 600 machines, poker tournaments, and Playground casino games. Daily promotions and unmatched customer service. Why go anywhere else? Located just over the Mercier Bridge, only minutes away from downtown Montreal. And of course, by La Bittt Tibi beer, brewed in Quebec and a winner of a dozen international awards, La Bittt Tibi offers quality microbrewery beers made with premium ingredients for everyone's taste. La Bittt Tibi, embrace your true nature. All right. Just need to get something out of the way. I feel like it's necessary given everything that's going on in the world, and that I do call myself the Hebrew Hammer. Whatever's going on in the Middle East, it's horrible what's happening over there. I have a lot of friends over in Israel. It's terrible. It's terrible what's happening to the Palestinian people in Gaza. Just I'm going to keep it out of this. I just felt like I had to say something. Everyone who I know there is fine, thankfully. So very thankful for that. Shout out to Barak and his family. Hoping for the best for you. All right. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk Habs, because that was one of the best games I've ever watched from an entertainment standpoint on Wednesday. We got a banger tomorrow, which I never thought I would say at the beginning of last year. If the Habs were playing the Blackhawks, it's like, woo, tank for the number 1 overall pick again, round 2 this year. But hey, look, this guy called Connor Bedard is coming to town, and he's had himself a pretty good start to his NHL career. So let's talk about all these things with one of my favorite Friday guests, Friday regulars, Mr. Charles-Alexis Brisebois. How we doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Happy the week is done. Been a crazy week. Work, what's going on, but let's talk hockey. And let's start with what I thought was the big story from Wednesday, which was easily the best game we've seen from Juraj Slafkovsky. I think we saw very much why he was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hoped for a progression. And remember at the beginning of the season, no one wanted to put numbers on his production. We knew that we want more than 10 points, but we don't want to define 20, 30, 40 or 50 or whatever. We just want to see a progression. We want to see him be on his ice, be correct on the ice. So we saw that on the second line with Dach and Newhook. He formed a second line that was absolutely fantastic. He touched the puck a lot. He was in control. He was driving the net. So it was really, really interesting to see the development of Juraj Slafkovsky. Of course, it's only a game. We all know that. But if it's a trend, if it's going that way, if he's going to take a huge step this year, it's going to be incredible for the Canadiens, because they they need that prime Uri Slavkovsky in a few years if they want to contend for Stanley Cup. So we're always talking about adding talent and having a huge top six. And we know that Dach is going to be on that top six. We know that Caulfield is going to be on that top six. We know that Nick Suzuki is going to be there too. But if Uri Slavkovsky keeps playing like that, and you can add him to that top six and say, you know what, he's going to be a lock too. That's going to be a huge for the Montreal Canadiens, of course, this year.
And it's kind of crazy because with one problem being seemingly solved, I mean, again, you said it, it's one game. We can't overreact to one game, but I think that was a fantastic game also from Kirby Dach. Obviously, Alex Newhook as well. Just that entire line, every time they were on the ice, just dominated play. So that seems like it's going to be a line for a while. And a lot of people wanted to see Kirby Dach with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, who had themselves a pretty good game as well. Now the search kind of continues because that seems like that line, they know they have something there. Again, one game, can't put too much into it, but they prove they can play together and that they all complement each other very, very well. So the problem now is what happens with that top line, because as much as I like to root for the guy, I mean, I'm sure he's great in the room. Everyone seems to love him. People in the media love him. Fans love him. But it just seems like Josh Anderson is not that guy because, yes, he's working with Martin St. Louis, but again, just based off of one game, it feels like it's the same thing, which is you're going to get his engine every game, but you're only going to get production one every 3 or 4 games from Josh Anderson.
Exactly. And I think Josh Anderson is there by default because of the injury right now, which is Christian Dvorak. Because if you have Dvorak, I think there's no way that Sean Monahan is stuck on that third line, which was obviously the worst one on Wednesday. The line with Pearson and Gallagher, we can all agree that it didn't produce anything. But if you can have that Sean Monahan on the first line, helping Nick Suzuki as a second centerman and having that line with Caulfield and everything, it could be absolutely fantastic for the Canadiens. But right now you cannot, because you need to have a third center and you don't want to bring Alex Newhook because he's great on that second line. So you have all of those problems that are created by one injury, which reminds us at which point last year there was 7 or 8 injuries just for the forward. So of course there was a lot of the balancement, but right now with that one injury, you need to have Sean Monahan, and that's why you bring him back. It's because you can play him on the first line, you can play him on the third line, you can play him everywhere. He's not going to complain. He's going to do his job, and he's going to bring value to the Canadiens. He's going to stabilize the center line. So I think he is the guy. Maybe when Christian Dvorak comes back, we know that he is skating every day. He's not a few days away from a comeback. He's going to maybe come back in a few weeks, but until then, probably that Sean Monahan is going to be the third centerman, and at what point the first line is going to need to survive, whether it's with Josh Anderson, whether if it's anybody else. Maybe they will bring back Raphaël Harvey-Pinard at some point. Maybe someone from Laval is going to come back. So we have no idea what's going to be in a few weeks. But as of now, I think by default, you need to have Josh Anderson, who fits on paper because he's big and he brings speed on the ice. But other than that, the fit is not there when you look actually at the games.
Yeah, he's a great player. It's like you said, he's more suited, frankly, on that third line because of the energy he brings to the ice, but he just doesn't have the talent level, the high-end talent level to play with guys like Suzuki and Caulfield, who are just so creative on the ice. And sometimes, they become a little predictable by that same token when I call them creative, in that you kind of know what they're going to do. It's Suzuki's going to look for that shot at the hash mark, or they're going to try to feed Cole Caulfield on his strong side. And whether it's a power play or not, that's what they try to do. And you need a third guy entered into that situation who can just bring something a little different, because Josh Anderson is incredibly effective off the rush, as he has been his entire career in Montreal. It's just once you get into your own zone, into the offensive zone. I don't want to say he's lost, because he's not. He's a very capable NHL player. It's just he's not the right complement for those guys. He's not going to be the guy who's going to go and fetch the puck. He's strong with the puck. He's not as strong without it. So I don't know. It's very, very interesting problem for the Canadiens. Like maybe Raphael Harvey-Pinard can work out there. We saw it last year, but it's easy to work out when the games don't matter all that much, and teams are kind of using you as a quote unquote rest game. And when frankly, half your lineup is from the Laval Rocket.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think at some point, the first line is going to need to take an expression from Martin St. Louis, a guy who plays checkers and not chess, because that's exactly what Josh Anderson. He's playing chess. He's just going that way, and that's very simple. But if you bring, for example, Hervé Pinard, he's a little bit more skilled, and he can cut to the net. So he's not obviously the more skilled guy on the team, but he's a little bit more skilled than Josh Anderson. So maybe that could be the difference. But like I said, at some point there's gonna be a need for a Sean Monahan to be on that first line, the way it's drawn up like this, because obviously Kirby Dach is at center to stay, so you don't want to put him at the wing, because you really want to see him develop into a really, really good centerman. Maybe it could be the first time until the end of the season. If it progresses well, we'll see. But you need to give him the opportunity to prove that to the direction. So you need to have him at the second center line for now, just every game. There's no change to that. You need to have Kirby Dach at center point.
It's funny you say that about Kirby Dach, because when I was watching the game with a bunch of my friends, and they one of them said during the game, he said, this guy is going to be, by December 1st, I think that's a little early, but by December 1st, he said he's going to be the first line center. It's just the way it was just so impressive to watch him with the puck in that game, specifically in the third period, just cycling around. I don't think we've ever seen a player on the Canadiens with the confidence that he has, plus the ability that he has to just hold the puck, to just skate around a zone with the puck on his stick, knocking people off with one arm, keeping the puck with him. I don't think we've ever seen that from a centerman, at least in our day, from the Canadiens. So that was really, really impressive to see. Like there was a game last year where he broke out, and I said to Stu Cowan last week, there's going to be another breakout for Kirby Dach. He's going to take a big step, and I'm just excited. Like, I'm all in on the Kirby Dach bandwagon, because now we saw why he was a third overall pick, much like we saw why Slavkovsky was a first overall.
Absolutely. And I was in the exact same situation Wednesday. I was at at some friends, and one of them kept saying, "Ce gars-là, c'est mon premier centre. This guy is my first centerman." So I think that he is very, very improved from last year. He's not the fastest guy on the ice, but the way he protects the puck is really, really impressive. And right now it works. I don't know if it's still going to be the same in 10, 15, or 20 games, but having Alex Newhook, who is very, very fast with him, and Uri Slavkovsky, who took a big step, as we said at the beginning of the podcast, it creates a trio which is very, very interesting right now, and they all kind of develop together. They're all very young still. So no, that's really, really encouraging for the rest, because even if the Habs didn't win that game, they played very, very good. The forwards were very excellent. So that was a great first step to begin the season, of course.
Yeah, and that was another surprise, was just how good Alex Newhook was. Like, of course, everyone knew he would be better than what he had shown in Colorado, because he just wasn't getting the opportunity. There was too much in front of him. But man, he's a hell of a player. Like, really, really good. Just maybe it was all he needed was that change of scenery for a boost of confidence. He had to see that a team was committed to him and committed to his development. And man, it's like, when the Canadiens got him, everyone kind of, I don't want to say crapped on Kent Hughes, but there were a lot of people that had a lot of things to say about that trade, and a lot of them weren't very nice. But again, we saw why he was picked one pick after Cole Caulfield. He was fantastic. And the biggest thing that I saw, like, I'm not a tactics expert in hockey, but I saw a lot of people who I follow who are, that say the best thing that we saw from Alex Newhook was sure, he scored 2 goals, but the way he plays is very, very conducive and sustainable to the NHL game.
Absolutely, he is a modern NHL player, and I think he's going to need some time. And I hope the 2 goals game didn't boost the expectations too much for him,
Mhm.
because I think that the expectations are a little bit high for him. Because I feel like a lot of people are saying, he's going to be the Kirby Dach of this year because we traded in the same conditions for a guy from the exact same draft 2019. And I don't think he's going to be as good as Kirby Dach, because Kirby Dach is really different. But
Yeah.
if he can develop into a really, really good player and be his own player, I think that's going to be very great for the Habs too. And he is in a good environment. I think he's leaving Colorado, which didn't have the time to develop him. Now
Mhm.
Kent Hughes, his former agent, is picking him up, giving 4 years of contract, and giving him to Martin Saint Louis, who really, really takes the time to explain and to develop the young kids from this team. So if he is placed in good conditions with saying, hey, you know what? We don't need you to be that important centerman who's going to win us a Stanley Cup. We just need you to be yourself and to develop into the hockey player that we know that you can be. And it's okay if it's not in October and in November. It can be next year, or it can be a little bit longer. So that could be very beneficial for Alex Newhook, saying, oh, you know what? The expectations are saying right now, I have some times. So that could really help him become the version that he can be. And as you said, he could be a very good 2023 NHL player.
Yeah, I think I think a fair expectation for, like, he's the same age as Cole Caulfield. He was drafted 1 pick after him. Not the same
Yep.
player as Cole Caulfield. I think a fair expectation for him getting the minutes he's going to get is about 20-25 goals. Obviously, a lot of things, like, there's expectations on every player, and not every player is going to meet expectations, but I think that's pretty fair. I think he plays extremely well. He knows where to be. It seemed like, just, I mean, how Martin St. Louis doesn't have his fingerprints all over Alex Newhook yet, the way he has his fingerprints all over Kirby Dach, and the way he has them over Cole Caulfield. He's very fresh in this lineup, and for him to get kind of an instant connection where everything clicked on Wednesday night was just a very positive thing to see. And I think that kind of cemented that 20 to 25 goal expectation.
And it could be realistic, even if he keeps playing with Kirby Dach, because as much as me, Kirby Dach loves to pass. And he has a
Mm-hmm.
good shot. I want him to trust his shot more, but he can really pass the puck. So if he has Alex Newhook on his side, and if you have Uri Slavkovsky, there's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of speed on the ice. There's a lot of size. There's grit. There's a good shot. So that could be really a trio that could help Alex Newhook develop. And even if he switches, and even if he goes playing a little bit with Suzuki and Caulfield, it could be a very small line, of course, but they could all complement himself. And I think playing with different players this year could bring the best out of him at different levels. So that would be interesting to say. And I want him to be consistent. Of course, I don't expect him to score 2 goals every game,
Of course.
that. But if he can score regularly and not having those long periods of time without scoring, that could be very good for his development too.
Yeah, I completely agree. We spent a little bit of time on it. We're gonna spend just a little bit more time on it. That third line, just, it's a shame. It's really a shame to see that, a lot of people were holding out hope for Brendan Gallagher because he will always bring 100% of the effort. But unfortunately, it just really looks like that engine has so many miles on it, just way too many miles. And he doesn't look like a guy at his age and the way he plays. And it just doesn't look like he can survive another 82 game season. Again, listen, this is just one game. This is game 1 of 82. There's still 81 to go, but it didn't look right for him. And there wasn't even like a flash where, you were like, wow, okay, maybe there's something. It's just that entire third line, for better or worse, was pretty invisible on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad for Brendan Gallagher because we all know that he gave his everything for the Montreal Canadiens. And if it wasn't for his contract, he wouldn't be in the NHL right now because he cannot follow the rhythm of an NHL game. And as you said, it's game 1. And, it's been 2 or 3 off seasons where we said, hey, you saw that article. Brendan Gallagher is healthy right now and he's expecting a big season. But at this point, you cannot believe it because it's not happening. His body is too trop magané. He cannot play under those conditions. I don't I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 4 years because he has a lot of terms on his contract again. But as of right now, you need to give him some rest at some point. And I think not at game 2 or game 3, but at some point he's gonna be an healthy scratch. Not because you want to punish him, but because you just want to give him a little bit of time to breathe. Because right now he just doesn't. You see him come back on the bench, and it always seems really, really hard for him to just recuperate it before going back on the ice. So it's going to be a hard season, I think, for Brendan Gallagher, as we saw in the last 24 months.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because you never know. I mean, he's sustained so many injuries over his career, and it kind of feels like ever since he took that puck off the hand from Shea Weber, the first one that broke his hand. This must have been, I don't even know how many years ago at this point. 3 years ago, maybe 4. He just has not been the same player, and it just feels like he's one injury away from, like, one major injury away from LTIR, and it's really sad to see because of all the memories and what he's meant to this team for so many years. Because he gets it. He's a Montreal Canadiens player who gets it and understands what it means to be here. So, hopefully he's able to turn it around because. Not only because the team could use him, but for his betterment. It'd be nice to see for him because really no one deserves it more than him. We've gone 23 minutes without mentioning Arber Xhekaj. No hesitation, standing up to Ryan Reeves. That to me is a real. First, it showed a lot of leadership, but to me that showed. It kind of showed and set the tone for the season, in that, okay, we're not stupid. We know where the expectation level is. We heard Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton didn't want to say the P word, but we're not going to be pushed around, and we're not going to roll over. We're not going to be an easy out for any game. That we're heading into your building or you're coming into ours, and just I think Arber Xhekaj is I don't want to say a star in the making, but he's a guy who, like, when they brought in David Savard, that's who they thought David Savard was going to be.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And the fact that Xhekaj, it was his first real game. I'm not counting exhibition, of course, but since February, the time he was injured and he had his operation, and it was the time for him to test his shoulder and to test his willing to stand up for the team. And at that point, I think that Reeves played it well because he decided to make sure that Xhekaj was coming on him, to have the misconduct and everything. It was very well done from Reeves until he dropped, and I think his plan was flawless until the fact that he was knocked out. Because I think he thought it would be a little bit more easy against Xhekaj, but it was a really difficult client. He fought a lot of good guys last year, Xhekaj. We all talked about the fact that one day he's going to face off Reeves and it's going to be hard. And when he
Mhm.
signed in Toronto, we were like, okay, it's going to happen this year, of course. And the situation was right there, and he responded very, very well. He stood up for his teammates. The only downside is the fact that the Habs needed to play with 5D for 17
Yeah.
minutes. So that was hard. And I think that's why Martin St. Louis was not very, very happy about it. He was like, okay, I understood why he did it. It's okay. But he was not, the happiest guy on the world. But he was probably very, very, very happy about the fact that he stood up and he decided to defend Caden Gooley, because we need to see that this year. We need, as you said, we're not going to be rolled over. We need to be accountable for each other, and that's exactly what Xhekaj is bringing to that locker room.
Yeah, and again, it's unfortunate that he's a defenseman that loves to fight, because, like you said, that can happen where you're without him for 17 minutes. But it's like you said, just it was a shot to Gooley right in the numbers, didn't get called, and that's what happens. You're not going to touch the future of this blue line. You're not going to do that to him. There's an argument to be made. Should Gooley have turned his back? I don't know. Like, I'm not a hockey player. I don't like to victim blame when a player gets hurt or put in a vulnerable position, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to take liberties against our team. And I saw a lot of people, a lot of Toronto fans saying on Twitter, this is why we all hated the Reeves signing, because just he's supposed to be big bad Reeves. Everyone's scared of him, best fighter in the NHL. And like the first opportunity someone got, no hesitation, dropped the gloves. And then, it wasn't the craziest of fights. This wasn't the movie Goon out there, but Xhekaj got the decision. He took him down. So that just goes to show, Toronto, it's not going to be they got a lot of talent, but that's going to be tough sledding. There's going to be some hard moments, I feel like, for Toronto this year.
Absolutely. And I think Ryan Reeves has a 3 years contract, so it's not going to be better in 3 years for him, and it's going to be better for Arber Xhekaj. The thing I'm curious about, I want to see what his season's going to look like now that he knocked down a guy like Ryan Reeves, because you know that the good fighters don't have to fight that much because of the aura they have around them, and they just their presence makes sure that everybody on the other side stays calm. So I think that there was some questions about it because of the way his first season ended, but right now he took down Reeves. So I think he's going to be tested a little bit, of course, and he's going to have to fight. But Martin St. Louis says a lot that, he's not there just to fight. He's a good hockey player, and you see when he has the puck on his stick, it always goes on the net. It's really, really impressive. He doesn't miss the net that much, so he can develop into a guy that can have some points into the NHL. So I want to see that this year, and if he has that aura that I don't need to fight, that's going to be perfect for him and perfect for the Canadiens.
Well, that's it. And in even more for the fighting aspect, we saw it last year, like near about the time when he, I want to say around mid-November, everyone fell in love with the story of Xhekaj, and, kind of not paying attention to what he was doing on the offensive end. It was like, oh, this guy's big. He could fight. He could throw the body. But then we started to see him, make offensive plays. And, it started with that game against Ottawa in the preseason when he shot the puck through the net. And just last night, again, this guy has real offensive ability. That's why I say he's exactly what, the Canadiens thought they were going to get. Like, this is prime David Savard, because David Savard, a lot of people just know him from his time in Montreal. And I think they acquired him. He was 30 years old already, or something like very close to it.
That. Yep.
And they didn't see a lot of his time in Columbus. His time in Columbus, this guy made a lot of plays. His primary focus was defense, but he could play the puck in the offensive zone, and he would pinch in. We're seeing that the start of that with Arber Xhekaj. So now you could kind of raise those expectations, because he's not just shooting it in the skates. Like, he's looking at passing lanes, taking smart shots at the net. Like, this guy is a very, very impressive NHLer, and it just adds that he's like a freaking mountain of a man.
Absolutely. And I think he knows that he cannot just rely on the fact that he's a big guy and a mountain guy and he's the sheriff, because he knows that on the left side, you have Mike Madison who's there, you have Caden Goulet who's there, and then Lane Hudson's going to be there, and Adam Ekstrom's going to be there, and William Trudeau is pushing. So he cannot just say, "Oh, I'm there because I'm fighting." Because as we said, you cannot just say I'm the defenseman who fights, because one, you put your team in trouble if you're absent for 17 minutes every night. Not every night, but you know what I mean. So, but you need to bring into the modern NHL an offensive side. You cannot just be that Josh Georges who have no idea what to do with the puck, but you're very good defensively. So it's okay. That the NHL is not working like that anymore. So Xhekaj knows that, and he's absolutely not that, because, as we said, he is good with the puck. He has a hard shot, and if he knows when to use it and how to use it, and he can continue to make good passes, he's going to be a very efficient NHL defenseman in the next few years.
And last thing, because I believe our next guest is here, Sammy and Yellow, you'll let me know in the chat. I believe he is here. So just lastly, let's talk about the last part of the ice. We'll talk about the crease. Not Jake Allen's best night by any stretch. We've seen way better from Jake Allen. This is a season for Samuel Montembeault. This is like an incredibly important season, and last night proved that, because he gets the net. He's getting his first start tomorrow. Like, this is the time where he can be like, okay, I got to buckle down, because this is my crease to win now. Even with a healthy Jake Allen, this is my crease. And listen, I'm no goaltending expert. I can't go through the mechanics or anything, but listen, Samuel Montembeault he's such an easy guy to root for. He's in good chez nous. He battles from the moment he was brought in. You know, the COVID season, he was playing with an injured wrist, and then last year he had a great season by all accounts, and you know, kind of was the reason why Canada won a gold medal in the IIHF tournament in the summer. I feel like this is his crease to win, and not necessarily be, you know, the goalie of the future, but he could lead a 1A, 1B tandem if he has a very, very strong season.
I think you're right, and I was expecting him to be the number one goaltender for the first game, but I'm not totally surprised to see that Martin St. Louis went with Jake Allen. I know he loves to live and die with Jake Allen from the past, and I think it was a move to put a little bit of pressure on Samuel Montembeault, because everyone was saying, hey, you know what, he needs to be the number one, but he didn't have a great camp. And I think to not put him against Toronto, where he doesn't have good numbers historically in the past few years, was to say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you the game in Chicago. You're going to have the home opener, okay? But don't think we're just going to give you every game just like that. You have to work for it. And he is in a contract year, because he's going to be UFA at the end of the year. So I think maybe all that was taking into account by passing him a message saying, hey, we really believe in you. We need you to stand up. I know you're capable of doing so, but I need you to understand it. So Jake Allen's going to take the first goal. I think he's going to go to have a good season. I hope he's going to have a good game in Chicago for him to start the year right, because if not, you know how it is. It's Montreal. We're going to talk about it. So I predict he's going to have a good season, and I think he will understand the message, if there was a message on Wednesday.
That's it. You know, I think he knows how important of a season it is, and he wants to continue the momentum he's built for himself from the end of the season up until all the way to the IIHF finals. Mr. Brisebois, thank you for joining us, as you do most Friday nights, and have yourself a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one.
The Sick Podcast is brought to you by sportsbuffshop.com. Shop all your sports licensed lifestyle apparel, including hoodies, caps, and tees of your favorite teams from all major leagues at sportsbuffshop.com. Use code SICK10 for 10% off all their items. All right, let's get going. Our next guest, it's time for Sick Sports Cards.
Sick Sports Cards. Presented by Sports La Tournade.
Six Sports Cards is presented by Sports La Tournade, sports cards, collectibles, and more. Visit the store at 1 Avenue de la Fabrique in Vaudreuil, Dorion. Tornado Chris, how we doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
A lot better. That after last week, it kind of felt like it was the get right game for the Bengals. So I'm feeling
It
good.
was. We did we see a piece did we see the old Burrow? He's back or
I think so, because he hasn't re-injured, or there hasn't been a setback with the calf. So he keeps saying every week he feels better, he feels better. So I think he's back. I think we got
Good.
the old Burrow back.
Good. Happy to hear.
Oh.
I'm a little bit. I had a little bit of rough one in the last 24 hours because of my baseball team, who had such an incredible season, all kinds of records breaking, and they won their division by a long shot. They were expected to go all the way, and they just didn't get it done. So they got put out last night, and so it's the last 24 hours I've been living with that. Just bummed out a bit that they're out. But
yeah, of course.
So the baseball season's over.
But hey, I mean, listen, it's a tough one for your Colts because Anthony Richardson is injured again. But hey, maybe you could string together some games. Gardner Minshew's a very capable backup, widely known as the best backup in the NFL. So wouldn't count your Colts out just yet. That defense is for real, by the way.
They have proven a lot to me over the last couple seasons. I mean, I think they're a great team. All they're missing is that quarterback, which Richardson seemed to be that guy, but the injuries are just killing us. But hey, the record is there. We're still in it. We're still we're off to a decent start, actually.
Well, that's what I said. In that division, anything's possible. Okay, let's go. Let's get into it. Talk to me about the new releases.
All right, so I got my list here. There's been quite a few releases. I'll stick to the major sports because UFC, even now, they started, believe it or not, they started making cards for pickleball. So there was a pickleball release if anybody was interested, but I did not get any boxes of that. But what's of interest is the 2023 Bowman Platinum Baseball. So as we go through the playoffs, baseball is still quite popular. We have also another Topps Pro debut baseball coming out on Wednesday. Panini Noir basketball. So the beginning of the basketball season, we're starting to see more Panini stuff coming out. Panini has come out with an announcement lately that they, during the whole lawsuit with Fanatics, they are still continuing to put out stuff. They are continuing to produce. So that's good news on that front for this year, because it was very uncertain on what Panini was going to do. So happy to see that. We had Upper Deck Allure come out, which is a 2023 product, 2022-23 product. Still a little bit of catch up there on the Upper Deck front there. But everybody is now waiting on Wednesday, October 18th, is going to be Upper Deck Series 1. That, for any hobby collector, is usually the one to get. It's usually the hottest. Usually comes out in November. They advanced it a bit to October. They probably have a strategy with their calendar, which kind of makes sense. But Series 1 is always one of the biggest sellers. There's a little bit of difference this year. Upper Deck Series 1 will not have the young guns of Connor Bedard. So it's been announced that Bedard is not in there. Fantilli is not in there. There's no Michkov. None of the top 5 guys are going to be in Series 1 this year. So there's a few surprises on other people that are going to be in there. So I have a little list here of interest for people here that people to maybe watch out for in Series 1.
Yeah, please.
So we have Matthew Carnato from the Flames. Ridley Gregg from the Ottawa Senators. We have Owen Beck. Didn't have a great camp with the Habs, but he will be in Series 1. So as far as the Habs go, I think that'll be the prospect to get for the Canadiens will be Owen Beck. Who knows? You get him now while he's not around the team. Maybe he'll go up when he does make the team, or if he does make the team.
Well, that's it. Well, it's funny. It's funny because, I wanted to mention this to you. I was at actually the card show in Laval last week.
Oh.
And I was like, looking everywhere for where's Sports La Tornade. I have to go. Like, Chris is gonna freak out that I'm here. Yeah. I have to see him. Yeah. So I went there and I was talking to a bunch of guys because my friend really is the big collector. I went just he wanted someone to go with. I wasn't working on Friday, so I went with him. And we were talking to some guys, and I was talking to one of the owners of a store, and he told me that, a friend tipped him off to Jason Robertson a couple years ago, and he bought like 50 of his Young Gun cards for like $3 each. Yeah. And lo and behold, those PSA 10 Jason Robertson Young Gun cards are now going for like $250 to $300. So you never know. You never know. You never know. Especially with Habs players.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I like to do, and I like to be that person as a store owner. People will come into the store and ask for my advice, and that's the kind of guy that I want to be. I have a great manager in my store that also knows everything there is to know about cards, and we can often give great recommendations on certain players or tendencies and stuff, what to look for. Too bad we didn't. I don't know when you went to the card show. I was there on Friday night.
Okay, I was there Friday during the afternoon, early afternoon.
It's the first time that I actually didn't have a booth. I had something else that weekend. I wasn't able to get everything together. I was just too busy, and I just couldn't make this one. But I'm usually there. All right, so it happens 2 times a year, right? Yeah, it's every 6 months. The big show in Toronto is actually, so you saw the size of the one in Laval. The one in Toronto is about 5 to 6 times the size of the one in Montreal.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That place was like overwhelming. I was like, oh my God, there's like 1 million booths here. I don't know where to go, what to do or where to go. And to just picture 5 of those side by side. Jesus.
The Toronto show is November 10th to the 14th, I believe. Whatever that weekend falls. And that is, like you say, overwhelming. You have to take at least 2 full days to get through all the aisles and see everything. Even at that, you don't get to see it all. So
yeah, exactly. Like it's funny because my friend, we went on the Friday and he's already looking to trade, but it's like I kind of learned a lot in the little time we were there. It was like, like after going to 2 booths, I look at him. I'm like, Matt, his name's Matt also. I go, Matt, you're trading at the beginning of a show when people have like, they're all coming in with a goal in mind and they want to do the best they can. Like, you're better off trading people on Sunday when maybe they took a couple losses and things didn't go. Things didn't go the way they planned. Friday, everyone's pretty fresh here. Like, everyone's kind of waiting to make the trades.
Yeah, well, that's well thought out actually, because Sunday is one of the days where you can get some of the dealers that are looking to clear some stuff. Maybe they didn't have such a good show and they want to unload some stuff. This show happened to have all the public signings of all the players. Most of them were on Sunday. Slavkovsky was there, Dach was there, Goalie was there, Xhekaj was there. So there was quite a few big names that attracted the crowds on Sunday. So I wasn't able to make it on Sunday, but I'm sure that's what attracted a lot of people. So just continuing that list, I just had 3 more guys that are starting to be well known in the NHL. So we have Matthew Nyes, who we saw the other night. Toronto he looks pretty solid, and Devin Levi, who's we want to call him a good Chinu there. So playing with the Buffalo Sabres, and then Luke Hughes. We all know the Hughes name in the NHL.
Yep.
Can't be can't be too shabby with the name Hughes. So those are cards to look out in Series 1. It comes out on Wednesday. And I think people are going to be they're going to be curious because they're Upper Deck. What Upper Deck does a lot is they have a thing called Easter eggs, and they are cards that they insert in a product that is not mentioned on the checklist. They're called Easter eggs, and I can't quote this, and it's not for sure. It's not 100%, but something tells me that we're gonna see something Connor Bedard-ish in this product. I almost feel like it's impossible that there's nothing of Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't see his name anywhere on the checklist, but I feel like we could be in for a surprise. Only time will tell after a day or two of people opening. Someone will pop something up and say, hey, look what I found. And then the hype will come. And
that's it. Maybe they'll place in a little redemption card in there for his thinking. Series 2. Like, that's what I'm thinking. They can't do nothing. You know?
That's exactly what I believe. I don't think they can do nothing. So to be determined on that one. So that's pretty much it for the releases.
I know it's next. I'm excited for this because listen, ever since you were it's crazy how internet algorithms work and social media. You know, the second that I had you on last, I went on TikTok later that night, and lo and behold, it's just like every live that pops up on my TikTok is another person doing breaks and doing card opening, box openings. Yeah, I'm excited. So let's hit me with it.
So we're definitely gonna open up a box tonight. I changed it as you were speaking with your previous guest. I had to change up my my topics a little bit because you guys were mentioning Slafkovsky and how great he played on Wednesday night. I have a mixed feeling. I have I feel like the crowd and the clientele coming into the store right now is very confused over Slafkovsky, and it's actually funny because it's really 50-50 right now. I have people that think he's terrible. I have people that think he's a first round pick and he's going to play like a first round pick, and you got to give him time, and he's young and he's showing some better stuff, and he had a great summer with training and stuff, which I'm all good with, but it's just funny to see the back and forth on, who's going to be right, and only time will tell. I am one that believes, I don't believe in him, but I'm willing to admit, like you said, Wednesday was the best game I've ever seen him play on Wednesday. Yeah. He seemed to be more in the play, a bit faster. He still got hit. He still got rocked a few times where
there was one play that sticking out in particular that he had all the snow on his backside.
And he's a big guy, but like everyone says, he's young, give him a chance. So anyways, just brought that up. So I'm laying it.
But well, it's funny you bring that up because at the card show, my friend had 2 goals in mind. He brought his box of his graded cards, and he said, I want to get rid of some of these cards. I'm trading my way up to 2 cards. I want a Cole Caulfield Young Guns, and I want a Cale Makar Young Guns. And he accomplished his mission, right? Which was great. But he traded away 2 Slafkovsky rookie cards. So now I'm wondering, is that going to bite him in the ass?
No, never. No, because the fact is that Makar has the trophies already. He's got a few. He's got a Stanley Cup. That makes a big difference. So Makar,
it's funny because the guy who he traded with Makar, he gave I want to say 3 or 4 cards, plus he kicked in an extra $50. But it was fair value. Like they traded, they looked up the prices. It was fair value, but he did say like, he said, listen, the market is dictating. It was dictating like a $750 value on Cale Makar's PSA Young Guns 10, PSA 10. And he said, you're getting a pretty good deal on this because had Erik Karlsson not had the season he had last year, all the hype would have been around Makar. Makar was gunning for the 100-point season. He ended up getting injured, suspended. He didn't hit the 100 points, so he got a pretty good deal in the end on it. Absolutely, and I think that Makar and Caulfield have more upside and more future than Slafkovsky. But that's based. Everyone can have a different opinion on that, but that's the way I see it. So I think he's good. So I'm going to try and tip my camera down here. I might try and so I can see myself too. But so we're going to open tonight. I'm just going to back up a bit here. Okay, so Black Diamond, 6 premium cards. So it's another big box like last time. How can I put this so I can see a bit? There we go. It's a bit better. Black Diamond. So inside of here we have, this is known for patches, jerseys, and signatures. Black Diamond is kind of like, I want to say on the tier, it's probably about the 3rd or the 4th highest box you can get. So. Okay. So is this for people like, obviously, like you told me last time, the cup is number 1. Right. Then there's I don't know. You tell me. Is it Premier that's right under the cup? Is it what's the other one there? There's Premier and there's Ultimate. Ultimate. That's right. So is it just below those 3? So I want to say the cup is the biggest. Then there's Premier. Then there is Ultimate and Black Diamond. Okay. So Ultimate, Black Diamond are on the same level. I guess that depends who you, more or less. It depends who you talk to when it comes to that. So this box, this is a sealed box. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the knife in there and open it up. So let's hope that tonight we can pull something big, because last time we pulled last time was we pulled out of Ultimate, we pulled out a Barkov. Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a number. It was a numbered Barkov. So my question is, this is the 22-23 Black Diamond, correct? This is 22-23 Black Diamond. So rookie, what's the big pull out of this? I guess the big rookie would be Matty Beniers. Okay, so gotcha. If we're looking at a rookie, Matty Beniers, but in Black Diamond you can be very surprised and get something that's not necessarily rookie. But it could be, signed out of 5, something rare, Yeah. So we do have 6 thick cards in here. So it's the same principle as Ultimate, where your top card and your bottom card of the pile are going to be. Can you see that? Okay. They're going to base cards more or less. Yeah, but they're at least numbered. So. Right. That's, they're a bit better than your Series 1 base card, which people use to recycle and give them to kids, So these ones are a bit better. So, Kirill Kaprizov, that one's numbered at least. So this one here, we're numbered to 349. So there's 349 of those. Kirill Kaprizov, he's kind of under the radar, I find. He's, I feel like it's because of the market he's playing in, It's Minnesota, Midwestern. If he was playing in Toronto, you'd be thrilled with that. You'd be thrilled with a Kirill Kaprizov. That's right, yeah. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the pile, and I got a Lucas Raymond. That's an exquisite collection jersey. This one is also numbered. This one is numbered to 99, so 74 of 99. Good looking card. Jersey. Nothing, single color on the jersey. Yeah, the jerseys, a lot of time jerseys, the patches seem to have more color to them, but the jerseys sometimes could be just a single. So here's a Braden Point, Diamond Stars,
Tampa Bay
It's very
Lightning.
nice.
That's a nice looking card.
And that's a cool card. That's what I was thinking. That's a cool card.
Yeah, it's a good looking card. That one there's also numbered to $2.99. So in the higher end products, that's where you get a lot of serialized stuff. So that's that's cool too. So here we have, this one's a pretty nice card. It's unfortunate the name, but we have Ronnie Attard for the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, look at that's a nice, that's what we call the rookie. That's the rookie card out of 49, which would have been great if we would have had a Beniers.
Yeah, I would have. I feel like you would have had a little more of a reaction out of you when you revealed the card over it.
Yeah, I definitely would have. I might have smiled or jumped a little bit more than Ronnie Attard, but it's okay. These are also pretty cool. We have a team logo jumbo, so these are also
cool.
jersey.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, these are nice
also
ones.
Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, Kirill Kaprizov, a second one. So this one, I want to say this one's probably going to be our most valuable card of this box. Okay. So, yeah. Now the team logo jumbos, sometimes they're numbered, sometimes no. That one is not. But, for these team logo jumbos, you can do the whole patch. So if you get 6 of these cards and put them all together, you can actually make the logo of the jersey.
Yeah, I saw a couple
if you put
people
them
that had in their cases at the show, they had full logos. I'm pretty sure I saw a Connor McDavid full logo. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much did that go for?
Yeah, that's big. Some people, the draft day marks, they're popular too, where they have the lettering from the back of the jersey, and you spell out the name. I actually have Caden Primo at the store, all spelled out, but it's too bad he hasn't amounted to much. So
yeah,
that's another jersey.
That's also a cool card. That's a nice card.
Yeah. And here's a guy that nobody really talks about, but I'm like thinking he's like a top 5 defenseman in the league.
Yeah, he's got to be up there. He just signed a big money contract.
Yeah, well, they know he's good. Like
exactly.
They're not messing around. They're not gonna take the chance of losing him. So yeah. So that's it for our Black Diamond box tonight. I'm a bit disappointed with that. That was not one of our better boxes. So next time, better luck next time. But it's a nice product. It's got a lot of nice cards.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. After I'm watching, all these breaks online, like I'm learning a lot about the card industry, and like that's just the way it goes in boxes. You're not going to have the big hit in every box. Well, otherwise those cards wouldn't be that valuable.
Exactly. And you know what? This box was not great, but it's a great teaching point where you might pay over $300 for a box, and I might have, $50 worth of cards there, and people get discouraged. But if you look at it on Upper Deck side of kind of thing, like they can't they can't put every box that's worth more than the actual value. It wouldn't make sense. And also you have to look at it at like a Buffalo Sabres collector wants this Rasmus Dahlin. Now, to me, this card is not worth much, but to someone in Buffalo, it might be. And if I want a Habs card, I can use that card to trade, and that's what the hobby's all about. We want more trading, and we want more collectors to interact and make those links and trade cards, whether it's all in Canada or across the world.
So I got a question for you, because of course everyone knows, everyone who's been regular viewer of this program knows I'm a big Bengals fan. There were a lot of people selling raw cards. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, that's non-graded, just in a plastic, and it's a regular card. And I was running because I was very tempted to buy a Joe Burrow raw card. I saw them range anywhere between $25 to $110. I think I saw was the biggest price for the raw. Now, I was thinking to myself, the only reason why I didn't do it is because I had this thought, and you let me know what you think. If it's $110, okay, it's a good card. Obviously, it's a good level of card. Like they pulled it out of the equivalent of a Black Diamond pack, we'll call it. Why wouldn't they have gotten it graded if they got such a good card?
So there's different philosophies and there's different reasoning to that. There's either I don't know, if you're talking to a dealer at a show who has a card shop, either he deemed it not gradable. Was it a thick card? Was it a thin card?
It was definitely a panini. It was hard to tell because it was under the glass. I didn't ask to see it. But it was hard to tell. I think it was definitely a good one compared to the ones that were like, I could tell based off of, the whole selection that they had of him, that was a pretty good one, because I saw one graded actually of that same version.
Right.
And it was a PSA 10 and it was going for like something crazy. They were asking like $3,000.
Yeah. So either they deemed it not gradable, or a lot of times, like in my store, a lot of people will come in and say, why didn't you grade this? And why didn't you grade that? Well, every time you send a card, it costs you $40. And if that card, say it's worth 100, like you said, 110 or whatever. So let's for the purpose, say 100. If that card is worth $100, I send it to be graded. I pay $40 to send it get graded. Well, if it comes back a PSA 10, now it might be worth $300 or $400, which is great. You made a great move. But if you come back as a PSA 8, well, then your card is worth about $80 to $100, almost like if it was raw. So then you just threw away your $40 for the grading. You took a chance. So either the dealer deemed it not gradable, or, personally myself, in a store, you have so many cards, you gotta pick and choose. You can't send everything. So, and sometimes, like, I'll be at a show or I'll be at my store and someone will ask me about a card, like, hey, what do you think? How come you didn't get this card graded? Well, the simple answer is because I got it yesterday. I picked it up yesterday in a trade, and now you want it today. Some cards can stay 6 months in the showcase at the store, and some will be gone in 24 hours. I had a group come through today. They came from Toronto. They're going to the Laval Rocket game tonight, the home opener. They're going to the Habs home opener tomorrow night. They came through the store and they wanted Caulfield Suzuki. Caulfield and Suzuki in my store only last about an hour before someone comes in and says, do you have Caulfield? Because that's everybody's question. Yeah. And they don't last. So doesn't matter whether it's a $5 Suzuki card or a $500 Suzuki or Caulfield, it's gone. So I don't even have a chance to send it to get graded, because the person that comes in says, I'm going to buy it for $100 and I'm going to send it to get graded. And that's, I can't send them all.
That works for me. That gives me more inclination just at the next show to just ask someone more questions and, just ask for their honest opinion. Hey, why didn't you get this graded? Because that's what I'm starting to realize. Like there were a lot of straight shooters at that show, I found.
Yeah. And you don't need to be shy. You ask the dealer and ask them, can I have a look at this card a little bit closer? And you can scope it out for yourself. You can check the corners, you can check the edges. And it's very friendly. In the shows, it's very friendly. I don't know anybody that's going to say, no, don't touch my card. I've never seen that. So you can definitely, don't be shy to ask.
All right. That's good to know for next time. And I keep forgetting, because every time we have you on, like I think it was the last 2 times I had you on, and Yellow messages me. He goes, you got to text Chris after the show. He has something for you. I don't know if that still holds or if he just put you on the spot, but or if I'm putting you on the spot, but that was 2 times ago and I never did. But hey, if you got something for me, you got something for me. If you don't, that's okay too.
I always have something. I'll find something, but I'll have to text him now and see what he's talking about because that slipped my mind. But I'll definitely have something for you.
All right.
For sure.
Well, then that works for me because hey, and you know what? I'll say this to everyone out there, like for the people who buy cards online, really, especially being to your store a couple times and then, going to that show, it's just so much better in person. It's just so much better.
I get asked all the time, why don't you just sell online? Why do you have a store? Why do you have a physical store when you can sell online? And I challenge people to come in and live the experience and see for yourself how much better it is in person than it is online. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
It's so much friendlier. It's so much more of a community. It's face to face. You get to touch the card. You get to see what you're buying. I want to look at something else while you're getting something for me in the back. It's the best. It's just the best.
That's part of the hobby. I love the connection with the people. That's what makes it fun.
All right. What's coming up? Just to recap for our viewers and listeners. What's the big releases coming up for the big sports again? Just run through them super quick.
Wednesday coming is Series 1. That's right now for hockey. That's all you need to know is Series 1. Series 1. Everybody, that's the most popular. Is everyone wants the young guns. And then once Series 1 comes out, we're going to roll into some more products like artifacts and stuff like that, which is a 23-24 product. In the following weeks, there's no certain date yet, but we're gonna start to see more and more Connor Bedard stuff, and we're in for a big year. So buckle down. It's gonna be a heck of a year.
Yeah, I think with Connor Bedard out there, I think people are really gonna go like big fish hunting for this guy. Like the friend that I went with the show, he already told me, he's like, yeah, I'm spending like $2,000 on boxes. Like I need to pull this guy.
Yep, absolutely. We saw, during COVID, the hype was Lafreniere, and look, he didn't necessarily pan out, but I don't know. I've watched 2 Chicago Blackhawks games this year,
yeah.
and he's the best player on the ice.
Yeah.
You got to get on it, and you got to get on it now for sure.
Yeah, I agree, and that's one of them that if you get it, you hold on to that. You hold on to that sucker because he just looks like he's going to be incredible for so many years.
Yeah, you don't want to be the person that sold all the McDavids years ago and now is regretting it.
Exactly. Tornado Chris, have yourself a fantastic week. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. Just put up. Here we go. So just picked up a Xhekaj French variant Young Gun.
Yeah.
How much is it worth?
French variant Young Gun. Let me take a guess here. So, I want to say a Xhekaj now is probably about his regular Young Guns. I'm going to say is $20 ish. The French variation is more rare. So maybe 3 times, maybe 60 to 80, maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go over 100 for it.
Yeah. It's funny because there were a lot of Xhekaj graded cards at the show that I saw people asking 150. You can bump that down a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah. So I think for the French variant, I'm going to go with between 60 and 80. There
you go. There's your answer.
Get that graded, bump it up some more. That's all.
And we got just one last one, and kind of, the listener asked a question. I have my own question based off the question, so it'll be kind of a 2-part one. So it says, will Bedard be in season 1 Upper Deck base? I guess part 2 to that question is it's a base. So what would a base card go for? Bedard?
Well, nobody really collects the base cards. Well, people like to do the set. So it's from 1 to 200. There's 200 base cards. So everybody, some people like to do the set. They'll pick up the 1 to 200. If you pick up the 1 to 200 all together, some people sell it for $20-$30 for the whole set.
All right.
When we do box breaks, all our base cards go into massive boxes, and we give them out to minor hockey associations. So
that's nice.
we give out the base cards to the kids, which is kind of cool. The kids love it. But as far as having Connor Bedard, let's see, 2023, 24. I can do, like, it's going to take me literally 10 seconds to pull this up, the checklist. And the Connor Bedard base card should not be in the Series 1, but you never know. Here's Calgary, Carolina, Chicago. So Chicago, we have Lucas Reichel, Tyler Johnson, Taylor Radish, Seth Jones, and Peter Mrazek. So the answer is no. Connor Bedard will not have a base card in Series 1.
There you go. Tornado Chris, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you will be seeing me drop by your store one of these days, because
Perfect.
It's like, you have no idea how close I am to, like, I'm always watching, and they're like, comment if you want to join this break or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I'm always so close to doing it. And I would think there's no better place than to buy my first box or pack than at your store. So you will be seeing me very, very soon.
We're going to be doing cases of Series 1 breaks coming up in the next week. So you can follow us on Sports La Tornade Breaks.
There you go. Follow him on Facebook. And just go by the store. He's a friendly guy, right? We've been just chatting for 45 minutes. He's a friendly guy. I'd like to say that.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, that's it for me and the Sick Podcast. Have a great weekend, everyone. Shout out Matt Litwin and Kelsey Asimov. Mazel tov on your wedding. I'll party with you guys tomorrow night. See you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaVie.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.